Thank you. This next question I'll ask Alan to respond to first, and it's a little complicated, so I'm going to change the way we do this. What letter grade, A, B, C, D, or F, would you give the current Board of Selectmen on the following issues? Now I'll read that again, and then I'll go to each of the issues, and then we'll go down and ask them to give whatever the letter grade with no explanation.
Okay.
Kind of putting your feet to the fire. What letter grade, A, B, C, D, or F, would you give the current BOS on the following issues and why? Well, leave off the why. Financial issues. Water quality. Infrastructure. And public policy. And what I'll do is I will start with Alan, and we'll ask for your grades on each of those, and then give you 45 seconds to give your comments. And we'll do the same for everybody as we go down.
Okay, let's see if I can get this right. Financial, I would give the current board an A on financial. What was the second? Oh, I'm sorry, water quality. I would say B plus on water quality. Yeah, B plus. Infrastructure, boy, that's a tough one because there's a whole range there. I would have to say probably somewhere in the B range for our infrastructure. And as far as public policy, I would say A minus on public policy. Now, in terms of why for each of those, financial.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just 45 seconds for all of them.
Oh, total? Gotcha. Financial because of the work that we've done in getting our audits under control, as far as putting budgets together that have not required an override for the last 2 years. As far as water quality, I think that there's a very strong concern on the part of this board, and we're just trying to figure out how best to approach this problem of water quality. I think we have a plan to do that. In terms of infrastructure, boy, we need some help with our roads. We need some help with other pieces of our infrastructure. Again, this board has been working diligently on taking a look at that, and I think we're making progress. Public policy, I think we have initiated some programs and some policies that will have long-reaching effects as far as the improvement of government and the delivery of town services.
Thank you. Clifford?
As far as finances go, I guess I give everybody an A here in Nantucket for doing what they can to tighten their belts. Water quality, as we've just talked about, I guess we're talking about the drinking water, everything we can do to keep the phosphates and out of the aquifer. I give them an A for that. I'm pretty lenient. Infrastructure, maybe a C. I think we have to get a long-term goal on how we're going to pave our roads. And public policy, I guess a B, just because.
A, B, B minus, B plus. A, do I give you the answer now? You balance the budget. That's great. You're going to have trouble next year. Water quality, rust tide in the ponds. Infrastructure, roads, and whatever. Public policy, B plus, because of the liquor laws that were passed, the Sewer Act that went through the state, and the new health department.
B, C, C, B. B in the financial, they've done well, given the collapse and the contraction that started 2 years ago. Can we do better? Yes. Water quality, C, simply because I want to see them. Remember, Article 68 is the selectmen's article. and I want to see them come out really strongly in support of it. Infrastructure, B-, and public policy, a B.
In terms of the grades, I would have to say A, B+, B, and A-, which is pretty much mirrors Alan, which is interesting. But financial, I can't say it again, I can't say it too often. What we've done in the last 2 years with the help of the finance department to move our audits from 3 behind to right on par, I think is fantastic. Water quality, I would say B+, because we're not there yet, number one. We have Mattakit to worry about, and we have not built into our needs areas adequately enough to meet the need to deal with the water issues there. Infrastructure, in pretty much the same reason, I would give us a B. The roads are a critical issue for me, but also the infrastructure, and that ties back into the water quality. Public policy, again, I'm very proud of the fact that the new health department, the TIC committee, which has got a ballot initiative, we've had a number of overall general discussions on a lot of issues facing the town, and I think we've done very well in addressing those with some good policy.
Thank you. We have time for one more question, and then we'll go to the candidates for their wrap-up. This last question, and I'll ask Clifford to respond to it first. Trust is a big part of convincing the people of Nantucket that initiatives put forward by the Board of Selectmen should be taken seriously and adopted by the annual town meeting voters. Please talk about trust and the things you have done in public service to engender trust in the electorate.
Well, I've been in aviation for the last 28 years, probably for the last decade or so. I've fought with the federal government over aviation safety issues, which is the reason I no longer work at United Airlines. You could probably view, if you went to this website, planesafe.org, and went to the video section, there's a video on there, whistle blowing in the wind, or something to that effect. Gino actually helped me make it maybe 10 years ago. I went down to Washington and I went as far as the General Accounting Office to try and get aviation safety matters addressed. Haven't gotten too far. Washington's basically run by special interests, and so if you just look at that example, I think you can trust me.
As far as trust is concerned, I put the town first in everything I do, and I try to project that image. I do not have any hidden agendas that I can think of. I'm pretty sure I don't, but maybe somebody could conjure them up. And I have no conflicts of interest, and as long as I maintain that and I'm totally open about everything, I think I can maintain and grow the trust of the electorate. Thank you.
Up until about 10 months ago, I was not involved in the public sector. Then one issue got my attention. And I've gotten from there. When I was thinking about running for the board, one of my friends said, go home, look in the mirror, and slap yourself 12 times. I've not decided to do that. I'm running because I want to serve. And when I got involved a year ago, some of the criticisms was my lack of participation. And so now the TIC committee, the Board of Selectmen, and the Finance Committee see me at all of their meetings. Beware of what you wish for.
I think one of the most important ways to engender trust is to be honest. My honesty is reflected often in my positions on things. I'm not afraid to take a position that I know others might disagree with. I'm not afraid to listen to where they're coming from, change my mind, or to stick with it. I believe that in a position on the Board of Selectmen, it's often very difficult to make a stand, to say what's on your mind when you know your neighbors are not necessarily going to be happy with the end result. These are the things, though, that we do in order to get your trust in terms of the rest of the community. It's not just about one person's needs, it's us balancing a variety of things.
I think integrity and the trust that it generates are two of the most important qualities in certainly any candidate that I'm voting for. As far as how one does that, I think it's through their record, through a record of accomplishment. Over the years, I've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to serve Nantucket in a number of capacities. During the 90s, from 92 to 98, I was the recording secretary for the two charter commissions, the county, then the Town and County Charter Commission. I've done a number of other public service volunteer opportunities, and I think I have a record of trust.
Thank you. Now we'll go to the closing statements of 1 minute each, and I'd like to start with Carol Dunton, please.
I wanted to hear the other ones first. Why am I running for the Board of Selectmen? If you had asked me this question a year ago, you would have heard no interest whatsoever expressed. I am a citizen, I am not a politician. I have a lot of common sense, which is not to say that the current board doesn't, but probably not as much as I do. And I have a healthy sense of humor. It's no more complex than that, and I want to serve Nantucketers.
Thank you. Alan, could you do the next in the closing, please?
It's a good question. Why do we do this? Why do we put ourselves in harm's way, so to speak? I don't necessarily see it as being in harm's way. I think of it as a real opportunity to be able to give back to a place that I consider home. I've been here now for 50 years, 50 summers, I should say, and 20 winters, because I know there's a distinction there. I've been fortunate in that I've been elected, I've been appointed to serve the community in various ways. I love Nantucket. I love living here. This is my home. And it's a wonderful feeling to be able to give back to the community, to do the things that I do, to be able to do them, I feel, with integrity and to do them well. And I hope that you feel the same way and will give me your vote on the 13th of April. Thank you.
I guess it was me. Yes, first I wanted to say thank you to the Civic League and also to the folks that have come out today, but most importantly to the candidates, all of us, all through the day. As all of us have noted, it's not an easy thing to do to put ourselves out there, and I think that what drives us is always something different, but it's always something valuable. I asked myself the question too of why, and many of the things we spoke to today will be reflected in my answers. Being the way I am, quite literal, my first recollections were all the different things we've done. Sherburne Commons, landfill, the audit committee, the budget, taxi cab, nub scallops. That's what's filled the last 3 years, and in many respects, I'm proud of the things that we've accomplished in a very concrete way. But that's not really why I want to ask for your vote today. I think I can give you a case that experience is something valuable, but that experience is combined with personal traits that I think are more important. We've talked about coalition building, negotiation, team building, which is very important to this process. We're 5 people, we're not 1. All of those are things I believe I bring to this group.
Thank you. Heidi?
Thank you. I'd like to talk about where do we go from here. I'd like to see us establish an Office of Economic Development. I think we should make growth pay for itself. We're going to need alternative energy sources. We've got to sell it the idea that it's easy to do business on Nantucket in spite of some of the answers that we had in the previous things, but we've got to simplify this process. And importantly, we've got to increase the educational opportunities to improve the skills of our adults. Many of our adults need to upgrade their skills so they can stay employed. And so we're going to have a difficult time next year with the fiscal 12 budget, and we require strong leadership. And I'm here to say I would love to be part of that leadership to solve these problems. Thank you.
I'd just like to thank everybody for this opportunity today. It's my first time. I hope I didn't botch it up too much. Basically, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I just like to get to the basics, and I'm not trying to repeat myself, but to look at the sewer, to look at the landfill. I know a lot of people on this island. I grew up here. A lot of resources we can tap into is how we're going to work these problems out. I own, or don't own, the bank owns them, 4 properties, rental properties. I know how it is to pay a lot of bills with little to no money. I'm 47 years old, and I just want to get more engaged. I have a 4-year-old son, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. So I'm looking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to particularly thank the candidates and the panelists for a great session this afternoon.